alone, but strong. Do you know the weight of silence when nobody is clapping for you? When nobody is standing beside you, when the world seems blind to your struggle? That silence either breaks you or it forges you into something unshakable. Being alone isn't weakness, it's the purest test of your will. Because when no one is there to cheer you on, the only voice you hear is the one inside your head, and that voice will either destroy you or make you unstoppable. The truth is, strength is not built in crowds. It's built in those lonely nights when you keep grinding while the world sleeps. It's built in the moments when pain tells you to quit, but pride whispers, one more step. Every battle you fight alone writes a story of resilience. Every tear you hide becomes fuel, and every scar you carry is proof that you didn't fall, you rose. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You don't need permission. You are proof that solitude breeds warriors. Walk alone if you must, but walk with the strength that even the storm cannot shake. Because you are not just surviving, you are becoming unbreakable. Solitude is the furnace where strength is forged. And until you have walked through the fire of being truly alone, you will never understand the kind of power that is born there. People fear solitude because it strips away illusions. When you are alone, there is no crowd to hide behind, no excuses to lean on, no one to distract you from the reality of who you are. It's just you and your thoughts, you and your weaknesses, you and your deepest hunger. And that is where strength is built. Because you either confront those truths and rise, or you run from them and remain fragile. Most people are terrified of silence. They chase noise, they drown themselves in distractions, they surround themselves with meaningless company just to avoid hearing their own thoughts. But those who dare to sit in solitude, those who can handle the silence, those who can look their own soul in the mirror and not turn away, those people develop a fire inside that cannot be extinguished. Solitude forces accountability. When no one is there to encourage you, you must encourage yourself. When no one is clapping, you must keep moving anyway. That's where true strength is born. When your motivation doesn't come from applause, but from a relentless desire to see yourself rise above the version of you that was weak yesterday. The furnace of solitude is not comfortable. It burns, it tests, it stretches every fiber of your being until you feel like you might break. But what most don't realize is that those flames are not there to destroy you. They are there to purify you. Just as gold must be melted before it shines, your character must be refined in the fire of solitude before it gleams with unshakable confidence. The strongest warriors in history were not created in comfort. They were created in isolation. They were built in battlefields of the mind long before they stood victorious in the eyes of others. When you are alone, you are forced to depend on nothing but yourself, and that is where resilience is born. You learn to solve problems without asking for help, to endure hardship without expecting rescue, to fight battles that no one else even knows you're fighting. And every victory, no matter how small, adds another layer of armor to your soul. People who have never been truly alone cannot understand the depth of their own potential. They only know strength in numbers, never strength in silence. But the one who has walked alone through storms, through darkness, through pain, comes out on the other side untouchable. Because if you can survive the nights when no one believes in you, if you can push through the mornings when quitting feels easier, then nothing outside of you can ever control you again. Solitude teaches you discipline. It forces you to act not because someone is watching, but because you refuse to betray yourself. You become the type of person who trains when no one will notice, who works when no one will praise, who grinds when the world thinks you're wasting your time. And eventually the world sees what solitude created. They see the strength, the composure, the resilience, the calm fire in your eyes. They'll wonder how you built it, and they'll never understand that it was born in the moments they never saw. Those long, lonely nights when you were forging yourself in silence. The truth is, solitude is not a curse, it's a gift. It gives you the chance to detach from shallow voices and focus on the one voice that matters, your own. It gives you clarity about what you want, who you are, and what you're willing to endure. It makes you dangerous because a person who doesn't fear being alone cannot be manipulated, cannot be broken, cannot be controlled. Solitude is the ultimate test of willpower. It asks, will you fold without support or will you rise without recognition? The answer you give shapes everything. So embrace the furnace. Step into the silence. Let solitude strip away your excuses and light the fire within you. You will feel the burn, you will face the pain, you will confront the weakness you've been avoiding, but on the other side of that fire is a version of you that is unshakable, untouchable, unstoppable. Solitude is where the strongest spirits are born, and if you can endure it, you will not just survive, you will dominate. Pain is not an enemy, but the fuel of resilience. It is the raw fire that pushes you to rise when everything in you wants to collapse. Most people run from pain. They treat it like a curse, something to be avoided at all costs. They chase comfort, they pray for ease, they think a life without struggle is the highest blessing. But the truth is, comfort breeds weakness and pain builds warriors. Every moment of suffering, every heartbreak, every failure, every sleepless night, it is all a forge, molding you into someone far greater than you were before. Pain does not come to destroy you, it comes to introduce you to the strength you didn't know existed inside of you. When you feel pain, your mind screams at you to stop, to quit, to retreat back into the safety of mediocrity. But if you endure, if you push through, if you refuse to bow down, you will discover resilience. Resilience is not born in victory, it is born in struggle. It is not born in moments of laughter and celebration. It is carved into your soul in those hours where you cry in silence, where you break behind closed doors but still walk outside with your head high. Pain is a teacher. It teaches you humility by reminding you that life does not bend to your comfort. It teaches you discipline by forcing you to keep moving even when every muscle aches. It teaches you gratitude because only after walking through hardship can you truly appreciate peace. And most importantly, it teaches you self-belief because when you come out the other side of pain, you know without a doubt that you can survive anything. Every scar you carry is proof that pain did not conquer you. Every failure you turned into a lesson is a victory over pain. Every sleepless night you endured without breaking is a medal of resilience. Pain is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally because it strips away the weak parts of you and demands that only the strongest remain. Think about the strongest people you know, not in muscles, but in spirit. They are not strong because life handed them an easy road. They are strong because they walked through fires that would have destroyed most, and instead of crumbling, they chose to rise. That strength didn't come from comfort. It came from suffering. It came from choosing to stand when everything pushed them to fall. It came from embracing pain as the very process that would make them unbreakable. If you hide from pain, you hide from growth. If you avoid discomfort, you avoid evolution. Pain is the resistance that forces you to adapt, to grow tougher, sharper, stronger. Just like a muscle cannot grow without tearing, your spirit cannot grow without struggle. Every hardship is a chance to build resilience, but only if you face it instead of fleeing. Pain has two paths. It can be the weight that crushes you or the fire that fuels you. The difference lies in your response. Most people let pain convince them they are victims. They whine, they give up, they sink into self-pity. But the rare few, see pain as a test, a challenge, an opportunity. They tell themselves, if this is hard, then I will become harder. If this burns, then I will let it forge me. And they keep moving forward. That mindset is what separates the weak from the unshakable. The truth is, resilience is not glamorous. It is built in the dark, in moments no one applauds. It is built when you drag yourself out of bed with no energy but still do the work. It is built when you push your body past exhaustion, when you endure rejection, when you get knocked down and rise again with blood on your hands. Pain whispers to quit, but resilience shouts louder, not yet. And every time you listen to that voice of resilience, you grow. You become stronger, sharper, harder to break. And one day you wake up and realize that the very pain that once threatened to destroy you has become the reason you can never be destroyed again. Stop seeing pain as punishment. See it as preparation. Every trial you endure is equipping you with the armor you will need for future battles. Every moment of agony is sharpening your blade. Every tear is watering the soil of your greatness. Pain is not the enemy. It is the proof that you are alive, that you are fighting, that you are becoming more than you were yesterday. Without pain, there is no resilience. And without resilience, there is no greatness. So do not run from it. Do not curse it. Do not see it as something unfair. Embrace it. Welcome it. Let it fuel you. Because the deeper the pain, the greater the resilience it will create. And when the world finally sees you standing unshakable, they will never know that it was pain itself that built the fire in your soul. Validation is a trap. Your self-belief is enough. From the moment we are children, we are trained to chase approval. Gold stars in school, applause in sports, compliments from parents, praise from teachers. And as we grow older, the cycle deepens. Likes on social media, recognition at work, admiration from peers. The world teaches us that our worth depends on the nods of others, that success only matters if it is acknowledged by an audience. But the harsh truth is this: validation is a cage, and if you build your identity around the approval of others, you will forever be a prisoner. Validation feels good. It's addictive. When someone praises you, it lights you up. When you are recognized, it gives you a sense of importance. But the danger is that it becomes a drug. And like any drug, you need more and more of it to feel alive. If nobody notices your achievements, you start to doubt yourself. If nobody claps, you question your worth. This is the trap. You build a castle on the shaky foundation of others' opinions, and when they stop feeding you validation, your castle crumbles. True strength, true confidence comes from one thing: your own self-belief. Self-belief is unshakable because it doesn't depend on outside forces. It doesn't care about applause. It doesn't beg for recognition. It doesn't need permission. Self-belief comes from looking at yourself in the mirror and knowing that you are enough, that your effort matters even if no one ever sees it, that your path is valid even if no one else understands it. When you have self-belief, you do not chase the crowd, you lead yourself. You do not perform for others, you build for yourself. You do not crumble when ignored, you grow stronger in silence. Think about it. Some of the most successful people in history were doubted, ridiculed, mocked, and ignored. Nobody validated their vision in the beginning. If they had waited for permission, if they had needed constant approval, they would never have created anything meaningful. They endured rejection, they endured criticism, they endured silence, and yet they kept moving forward because their belief in themselves was louder than the doubts of the world. That is the key. The people who change the world are not those who chase validation. They are those who chase truth, purpose, and their own relentless standard of excellence. The danger of living for validation is that you become weak in its absence. If your worth comes from people clapping, then silence destroys you. If your worth comes from recognition, then rejection breaks you. But if your worth comes from your own self-belief, then nothing can move you. You can be ignored, you can be doubted, you can be hated, and still you rise. Because your belief in yourself is enough fuel to carry you through storms. Validation is a trap because it makes you adjustable to fit what others want. You begin to shrink yourself when they don't approve. You begin to change your dreams to fit their comfort. You start performing for the world instead of building for yourself. And in that process, you lose authenticity, you lose freedom, you lose your true self. But when you trust your own belief, you stop living for them and start living for you. You make decisions not based on applause, but based on alignment with your values. You become unshakable because you are anchored in yourself. Self-belief is not arrogance, it is survival. Arrogance says, I am better than everyone. Self-belief says, I can endure, I can grow, I can become stronger no matter what. It is the quiet confidence of knowing that no matter how many times you fail, you will rise again. It is the unbreakable foundation that allows you to build a life even when the world is silent. Without self-belief, you will forever be begging for scraps of validation. With self-belief, you become untouchable. The truth is, the world will not always validate you. Some people will doubt you because your vision threatens their comfort. Some people will ignore you because they don't understand your purpose. Some people will hate you because your determination reflects their weakness. If you need validation, you will crumble under this weight. But if you have self-belief, you will thrive in spite of it. You will walk through the doubt, through the hate, through the silence with your head high because you know your value doesn't come from them, it comes from within. So stop chasing applause, stop begging for permission, stop thinking your worth is tied to recognition. Build your life on the foundation of self-belief. Trust yourself even when nobody else does. Stand tall in silence, work in the dark, grind without claps, and one day the very people who never validated you will ask how you built yourself so strong. The answer will be simple. You stopped chasing validation and you started trusting yourself. Validation is a trap, your self-belief is enough. Every scar is a crown of survival, proof of unstoppable will. When most people see scars, they see flaws, they see damage, they see reminders of pain, but those who understand life at its core see something different. Scars are not weaknesses, they are victories. They are marks of battles fought and won, symbols that you have endured what tried to break you, and yet you are still standing. Every scar tells a story of resilience, of strength, of refusal to surrender. They are not blemishes to be hidden, they are crowns, carved into your flesh and your spirit, proof that you are unshakable. Life will not hand you a clean, unmarked journey. It will cut you, it will bruise you, it will break you down in ways you never expected. Everyone faces storms, heartbreaks, losses, betrayals, failures. But what separates the strong from the weak is how they wear their scars. Weak people hide them, ashamed of what they endured. Strong people embrace them, knowing each mark is evidence that they went to war with life and came out alive. That is why scars are not signs of defeat. They are proof of unstoppable will. Think about it. A scar means the wound healed. It means that the damage you suffered was not fatal. that time and resilience restored you, that pain did not have the final word. Every scar on your body, every scar in your heart, every scar in your mind is a certificate of survival. It says, I was hit, I was hurt, I was broken, but I rose again. And when you collect enough of those scars, you start to realize that nothing can truly destroy you. You have been tested, you have been shaken, you have been pushed to the edge, and still you did not collapse. That is strength no comfort zone can ever give you. People often chase perfection, a life with no scars, no pain, no flaws. But what is perfection without struggle? What is beauty without survival? The truth is, the most inspiring people are not the ones who have lived without scars, but the ones who wear them proudly, like warriors wearing armor battered from countless battles. Their scars are reminders of the strength they discovered, the resilience they built, the willpower that refused to bend. They are walking proof that life storms cannot drown the determined. Scars are not always physical. The deepest scars are often invisible. The betrayals you endured, the failures that cut deep, the nights of loneliness where you thought you wouldn't make it. But just because others cannot see them does not make them any less real. Those scars shape you, they define your spirit, they carve wisdom into your soul. They become your crown, invisible yet powerful, because they remind you that you have walked through fire and you are still breathing. You carry battles within you that most people could not imagine surviving, and that alone makes you extraordinary. There is a strange beauty in scars. They remind you that healing is possible. They remind you that time passes, that pain fades, that wounds close. When you look at your scars, you should not feel shame. You should feel pride. Pride that you did not let pain define you. Pride that you stood tall through chaos. Pride that you refused to let your story end in defeat. Every scar is a reminder that you are capable of enduring more than you thought possible. That your threshold for pain is higher than your fear believed, that your spirit is indestructible. Scars also connect us to others. They are a universal language of survival. When you show your scars, you give others permission to show theirs. When you share your survival, you remind others that they too can endure. There is nothing more powerful than a person who wears their scars openly, not as wounds, but as crowns. They inspire, they lead, they show the world that being hurt does not mean being broken forever, that scars are not the end of the story, but proof that a new chapter began. Your scars are not something to cover up, they are something to honor. They are not ugly, they are sacred. They are crowns you have earned, each one placed upon you not by ceremony, but by endurance. Every scar is a declaration that you fought, that you refused to surrender, that you came face to face with hardship and still walked forward. They are the highest medals life can give you. So never be ashamed of your scars. Wear them proudly. Remember that they are not marks of weakness. They are marks of war. They are your crowns, your proof that you are a survivor, your evidence that your will is unstoppable. People may see scars as damage, but you know better. They are the story of your unbreakable spirit, carved into you by battles you conquered. Every scar is not just a reminder of pain, it is a crown of survival. And the more crowns you carry, the clearer it becomes. You are not fragile, you are not defeated, you are unstoppable. In the end, remember this, life will test you, it will break you down, it will cut deep, and it will try to convince you that you are not strong enough to stand. But every scar you carry is proof that those tests failed, proof that you endured, proof that your will is far greater than the obstacles in your path. Do not waste time begging for validation, do not run from pain, and do not fear solitude. These are not curses, they are weapons. Solitude will sharpen your mind, pain will fuel your resilience, and the absence of validation will force you to trust your own belief. Every scar you wear, visible or hidden, is not a sign of weakness, but a crown of survival. It is your reminder that you are unstoppable, that you can withstand storms and still rise with fire in your eyes. So walk forward without hesitation, without fear, without apology. The world may doubt you, ignore you, or try to break you, but you have already proven that nothing can. Stand tall, embrace your scars, trust your strength, and keep moving. Because you are not fragile. You are forged. You are unbreakable. You are unstoppable.